Hilariously, I am now a Trump tariff collector. Yes, that's right. I am bound to collect duties and pay them I pay them via the Royal Mail and US Postal Service directly to Donald Trump for the privilege of selling to you American customers. Does that mean that I'm getting taxed by Trump? No, because I pass those taxes on to you guys in America if you were to buy something. It kind of sucks from me as a business because I'm losing long-term customers who just can't justify those additional 10% increases on products. But it's going to have a long-term effect on the world. And whilst this video is not going to be a politically driven video to talk about tariffs, I do want to address these issues and talk a little bit about what effect it's going to have on individuals and businesses, not just here in the UK, but abroad as well. So strap in for a good old precious metal ramble. Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here. Welcome to another Precious Metal Ramble where we have down-to-earth discussions about all things precious and shiny. And today I'm going to talk about tariffs and their relationship to gold and silver and where things might be with tariffs, because there has been a bit of a fundamental shift here, certainly in the UK. The Trump tariffs are directly affecting me. I'm paying tariffs now. But am I? Because I'm passing on those Trump tariffs to my customers, because that's how tariffs work, unfortunately. The people in the US are paying the tariffs one way or another instead of the businesses and people outside of the USA. Now, look, this is not a video that is meant to be bashing Trump or bashing tariffs generally. You guys can do what you want over there, but it has direct and real effects on businesses here in the United Kingdom and other countries as well. And I wanted to share my recent experiences of now officially being a Trump tariff collector. And the reason I have this APMEX box out is because it used to not be this way. You used to be able to trade with the US, certainly from us to the US, with pretty much impunity on the tariff and taxation front. You could sell whatever you want from the UK to the US. Sometimes if it was of a certain value, you might have to fill out some customs forms. There wouldn't be any fees to pay, but that's all changing. And I feel like it's only going to get worse over time. And that's going to, of course, have wider effects, not just on my little artisanal business of poured silver and selling to customers in the US, but generally for business around the world. It's very isolationist. So again, reiterate, not a video to bash any political figures, parties, or any individual, but Trump tariffs are a thing that we have to talk about, and their relationship to how it's going to affect the world of precious metals, I think, is an important one to talk about. So with that said, love to know what you think down in the comment section below. Please just don't shout at me for criticizing the Trump tariffs, because ultimately at the end of the day, that's where I'm going to start. So I've lost customers because of the Trump tariffs. Now, whether or not you agree or disagree with the idea of tariffs, the fact is that the idea that only foreign businesses will pay these Trump tariffs is wrong. And I can speak from a personal experience of that, because I will just, it's 10% at the moment. So if I sell one of our poured silver bars, which by the way are still in their pre-order phase right now, if you're interested in picking any of these up, maybe not if you're in America, because I'll have to charge you 10% extra. You know, these bars at the moment, they are retailing at £145 a bar, so they're not cheap. They're premium products, limited edition, only 175 of these bars are made. And of course they go, you know, I have labor costs, I have other manufacturing costs, silver costs being really high as well. So to whack on a further 10% of that, I've already had some feedback from some of my US customers to go, no, that's not going to happen. And I get it. I totally get it. I mean, from my perspective, buying silver from APMEX, no. And I've got this box. I remember one of the very first batches of silver I bought for my poured silver business was actually from APMEX. I bought a bunch of silver casting grain because at the time, bushy-eyed and, what was it? No, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. He said bright-tailed and bushy-eyed. I didn't really appreciate quite how the sort of import taxation duties worked for the UK, and I saw online that I could buy silver casting grain from APMEX for a damn sight cheaper than I could in the UK, so I bought it, and when it came through I got levied with a huge 20% VAT bill plus handling charges and all of that, and it worked out more expensive, so it was a hard lesson learned. But I've always kept the box from APMEX because it's kind of cool that I got that from APMEX. And it happens, unfortunately, and so we just don't buy silver from the US unless it's going to be something super rare and collectible that you would have to pay the tax on anyway, and it's some high-end collectible item. But if you're just buying bullion products from the US, it was just like no, there's absolutely no point. So the fact now that we have got these tariffs going the other way, I think sucks. The US market is, of course, a big one for the likes of poured silver. Oh, I nearly dropped a bar on a sovereign there. That would have been a bit bad. Our US customer base has always been really, really strong, and we've obviously had a lot of US customers along the years in various forms or another. And unfortunately, the way that the world has gone right now with the whole taxation, and it's not just tariffs as well, because there are some local sales taxes in certain states. I've had feedback from customers going, last time when they ordered, even way before Trump was even elected, that they were hit with some import sales taxes, which, for them, they're happy to sometimes to pay those taxes because I've got amazing customers, I've got amazing people who support what we do, and they like what we do, they like our channel, they like our products, they like everything that we do, and they want to support me, which is just unfathomably amazing, and I'm so grateful to everybody who does that. And I'm also absurdly grateful for the number of customers so far that have absorbed those tariffs and taken them up from my US customer base. It's incredible, but unfortunately I am losing customers from the US. It's the same thing that's happened post-Brexit here in the UK, so I can see where it's going to go. I used to have quite a lot of European customers, and now I have a really very sort of select few numbers of them, because unfortunately, just without Brexit being in place, it means that there is sales tax on these items. And without going into too much detail and boring you beyond belief with the complexities of the UK taxation system for sales tax, basically, I'm not sales tax registered because we keep our business only to a certain size each year. We have a certain amount of turnover which we can do, which is tax exempt or VAT registration threshold exempt. And so we keep it under that, so we don't have to go sales tax registered. It's a right ball ache, it's an administrative nightmare, and then I would have to charge VAT on top. The benefit, though, is that I could claim back the VAT on the raw materials. But at the moment, you can buy raw material silver for cheaper on the second-hand market than you can from businesses. So unless my business really grew and I was making thousands and thousands of kilos worth of silver products a year, it's just not worth being VAT registered. So it means that when I'm selling everything, I have to pay the VAT on the manufacturing costs, on the products for the kilns, the crucibles, the hallmarking charges, the postage. All of these things add up. And so basically it means now when I'm sending something to the US, there is, I can't do the exact maths, but there's like at least 10% within this product, if not more already, that is essentially tax that's going to the UK government. And then there's a further 10% tax on top, which is now being collected for the US government. And I'm the tax collector, which I find absolutely hilarious. So it was a bit of a shock because not really anybody knew about this. And I'd sold a couple of these 100-gram bars to one of my US customers at the end of August, and it was the bank holiday weekend. So I didn't package it up until the 1st of September. And I got onto the Royal Mail's website, booked it in, and then it was asking me for the customs information, which I've done before, absolutely fine. Put all of that in, and it said what the customs duties would be. And I thought, okay, well, it's preparing, the customer at the other end. That's absolutely fine. And then Royal Mail asked me to pay for it. And I was like, huh? What? And I'm like, well, I can't pay for it because the guy hasn't paid me for it. And so I'm then left with two scenarios, which we've worked out with that particular customer. And then going forward, this is what we're going to do for all other US customers, is that I can ship it with someone like FedEx, for example. A bit more expensive to ship with, but I don't have to pay the charges up front. Or we go back to the customers and say, I'm really sorry, look, the Trump tariffs are now payable up front rather than when they're imported. So you need to pay me that extra 10%, which we've done on one customer so far, because there's only a couple that were affected by it. But going forwards now, I'm just giving my customers two choices. They can either pay the Trump tariffs up front, and then I pay them on their behalf, and hopefully then it will all arrive safe and sound without additional tariffs. God knows, it would probably be likely double tax, but we'll see. Or we go through FedEx and then they take their chances with that, and the declarations we put on. Apparently, and this is just from what I've heard from some of my US customers, apparently it's a bit hit and miss whether or not items do get tariffed on entry. So I know some people will take that chance, but I mean, from my perspective as a business, I can't fake it. I can't say these numbers are not right, and I can't put the lower amounts on. That's not right. It's against the law to do that. So from an export point of view, I have to kind of declare what it is, and that's on you guys, if you buy, to take that chance, take that risk. So yeah, it's a really difficult one, and I think it's absurdly comical that I am now a Trump tariff collector. It's just the way the world's going at the moment. It's just the way that governments, big brothers, are going. And the only kind of political jibe that I will put into here is that the idea that it is foreign businesses that are paying for these is wrong. It's the individuals, it's the customer base in the US that end up paying these taxes. So be aware of that. I know that a lot of you sensible people out there already know that. There's a lot of people who are quite aware of that situation, but there are also quite a lot of people who just are in blind ignorance that they hear, tariffs on 10% of foreign companies. That's just not how it works. Is it hurting me as a business? Yeah, because I'm losing customers. Does that mean that I'm going to struggle? No, because always with my products, there is a huge demand for them from UK customers. And if anything, our UK business, our UK arm of the business is bigger and better than it's ever been. And our UK customer base is bigger than it's ever been, quite frankly. And if tomorrow I had no more US customers, I know that the UK customers would pull up that slack. So I'm not worried, but I'm annoyed because there's like one customer who's been with us annually for like 6 years, I think. I remember. And he's just said, look, I'm sorry, this is the year that it's not viable anymore. And I get it, and I completely understand. And I hold absolutely no ill will towards that customer. And it's just really sad. It's annoying for that reason more than anything else. But anyway, look, it is what it is. My camera battery is about to run out, so I'm going to end this video before that happens. Thank you all for watching. If you're in the Cool Kids Club, then I want you to quote me, just to get the people going, Trump's tariff, hell no, down in the comment section. That's your code for the Cool Kids Club. If you know what it's all about, you know I'm not going to tempt you anymore with it. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Thumbs up if you've enjoyed. Subscribe if you've not subscribed. Cool kids, Trump tariffs, hell no. That's it from me. We'll see you on the next video. As always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.